participants for the second day of the International Conference on the Future Global Business and Technology Challenges Ahead. I'm extremely delighted to be here, and it's an honor to welcome you all. At the outset, I would introduce myself. I'm Anuradha Gaikwad, a faculty from the MBA department. Honorable dignitaries of the day, Honorable Professor Dr. T. Mangaleswaran, the Vice Chancellor of University of Vavuniya, Sri Lanka, Professor Dr. S.P. Rath, the Director at CSIBER, all the other esteemed guests who would be addressing you through the virtual online mode, the heads of the departments of the various programs present here, the delegates of this conference, faculty members and my colleagues, and the non-teaching staff, and of course, the students who are present. We start today's proceedings by a traditional felicitation of our guest of honor, and I would request Dr. S.P. Rath to felicitate Honorable Professor Dr. T. Mangaleswaran, the Vice Chancellor of University of Vavuniya, Sri Lanka. We are giving him a pagdi, a type of a headdress or a headgear, a traditional headwear which is usually worn by the Maratha warriors, a symbol of courage, a symbol of bravery, a symbol of hope, and a symbol which says, never give up. Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. Vinayak Sarunkhe to felicitate Dr. S.P. Rath with the pagdi. And I would now request our Director S.P. Rath Dr. S.P. Rath to felicitate Dr. Vinayak Sarunkhe, our Registrar.
Now I request Dr. S.P. Rath, Director, CSIBER, to address the gathering.
Supravatam and good morning to everyone. It's my pleasure to invite you to the day 2 of the international conference. And here we are going to start the international conference. Already we are waiting with the dignitaries available on this. Dr. Terefe Zekele from Ethiopian Civil Service University, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to address the keynote. This is with this note, I say thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. I would now request the Vice Chancellor of Vavuniya University, Sri Lanka, Dr. T. Mangaleswaran, to address the session. So please.
Yeah, Professor Dutt and senior academic staff, academic and executive staffs and delegates, very good morning to you all. It's really this research conference, very useful for the academics, their research findings. They express their research finding to the future academic as well as for a theory concept development, as well as these research findings useful for a contribute to the organization. It's a research is really support to the development of the region and the nation and support to the international. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now we are starting with the today's first keynote address. So it gives me immense pleasure to introduce you all with today's first keynote speaker, Dr. Terefe Zekele. He is Deputy CEO at Ethiopian Civil Service University, Addis Ababa, Africa. He is former HOD, Department of Public Management, Addis Ababa, Africa. Dr. Terefe Zekele is a trainer and consultant to Government of Ethiopia and various international bodies. We are very eager to hear from you, sir. So over to you, sir. And I request all the dignitaries to over to you, sir. We can start with the presentation. Dr. Terefe Zekele, sir, we can start with the presentation, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Is my voice, can you hear my voice? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can I start? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start, sir.
Very good. Thank you very much for giving this chance to me. Again, I would like to thank CSIBER for organizing this international conference on future global business and technology. I am Terefe Zekele from Ethiopia at Ethiopian Civil Service University, and the title which I'm going to share in this keynote speech to you is the influence of organizational culture on employees' commitment in civil service organizations in the case of selected cities from Ethiopia, Africa. As all we know, the success of organization can nearly always be ensured through the contribution of committed employees who are working within them. And the commitment of employees within the organization is also very important, and this is directly traced back to good organizational culture practice. That means the good organizational culture is very critical and important to enhance the commitment of employees in the organizations. Therefore, having a good organizational culture for the organization is very critical to make employees satisfied with their job and again to increase their commitment. Therefore, it is also very important. It is also helpful for the organization to retain competent employees to ensure the competitive survival of organization. That means if the organization builds good culture that brings job satisfaction, the commitment to employees, this will allow organizations always to retain, the competent employees who will very critical and important to the competitive survival of organizations. In regard to the gap or problem with organizational culture and commitment as well as job satisfaction of employees, in principle, all organizations are expected to have a staff of well-experienced and well-educated experts to successfully perform and achieve their goals. That's very critical for the existence of organization, and this is what we ideally also expect. However, some studies which have been carried out in Ethiopia confirmed that most civil service institutions operating in Ethiopia have less satisfied employees with a lower commitment as a result of poor enumeration and the benefit package. Again, there are some studies which have been carried out on the effects of organizational culture on employees' commitment as well as the job satisfaction. However, These studies did not address whether the job satisfaction mediates the relationship between organizational culture and employees' commitment. That's why this study has been initiated in order to see whether the creating job satisfaction or bringing job satisfaction to employees will mediate the relationship between organizational culture and employees' commitment. Based on this, the study has the general objective as well as specific objective. And the general objective is just to examine whether the job satisfaction has mediating role in the effect of organizational culture on employees' commitment in the civil service institutions in Ethiopia, Africa. In line to this general objective, the study attempted to achieve the following specific objectives. The first one is to identify the condition of organizational culture practice in the civil service institutions here in Ethiopia, Africa. That means that the practice of organizational culture in the civil service institutions. The second objective is to determine the level of employees' commitment and the job satisfaction in the current organization where employees are working. The third objective is to examine the effect of organizational culture on employees' job satisfaction and commitment. And the final one is to analyze whether the job satisfaction is playing a mediating role in the relationship between organizational culture and the employees' commitment. I hope the audience is following me.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So the scope of this study is focused on the context of civil service institutions and in Ethiopia with target of permanent employees who are working on those selected civil service institutions. In order to address the practice of organizational culture, employees' job satisfaction and commitment in relation to their current jobs, the scope also focused on the addressing the practice of organizational culture, employees' job satisfaction, and the commitment in relation to the jobs that they are performing in their current organizations. In order to address organizational culture, the study considers 5 dimensions that build up organizational culture, such as change management, goal achievement, teamwork spirit, customer orientation of the employees, and building a strong culture within the organization. For addressing job satisfaction, 2 scales like the intrinsic and the extrinsic scales have been considered in this study. Again, to address the commitment of employees within the organization, 3 dimensions related to commitment have been considered in this study. These are affective, continuous, and normative. Affective commitment of employees means the emotional attachment of employees to continue working within the organization. Continuous dimension of commitment is related with costs associated to leave the organization or to resign the organization, which influences employees to continue working with the organization. And the normative dimension of commitment is related with the feeling of obligation with an organization that influence employees to continue working with an organization. That means if they have obligation with an organization, that means if they have more assignment as well as the some payments or some investments that have been made on them by the organization, this could be felt by employees as obligation to them, so that they may decide to continue working with organization. That's what we call normative commitment. Again, this study has a conceptual framework here, as you can see from the screen. On the left side, there are dimensions of organizational culture, which are managing change, achieving goal, coordinated teamwork, customer orientation, the culture strengths. And the study first to see whether this organizational culture, the dimensions of organizational culture have effect on both job satisfaction and the employees' commitment. Then, and the second step is going to examine whether the job satisfaction, employees' job satisfaction that placed between organizational culture and employees' commitment plays a mediating role in the relationship between organizational culture and the employees' commitment. So the overall analysis of this study is framed on the basis of this conceptual framework to show whether the dimensions of organizational culture or which dimensions of organizational culture have significant effect on the employees' commitment as well as employees' job satisfaction, and then whether this employees' job satisfaction from the perspective of intrinsic and extrinsic skill plays a mediating role in the relationship between organizational culture and the employees' commitment. Concerning the research design, this study has employed two research design. The first one is a descriptive, which has been employed in order to describe the situation of organizational culture, employee job satisfaction, and employees' commitment practices within the organization. And the explanatory research design is to examine the effect of organizational culture, those 5 organizational culture dimensions on the employees' job satisfaction and the commitment, and to examine again whether the job satisfaction is playing a mediating role in the relationship between organizational culture and employees' commitment. For these 2 reasons, explanatory research design has been employed in this study in addition to the descriptive research design. In regard to population sampling technique, the population is permanent employees who are working currently in the selected civil service institutions. Since it's very difficult to get the total number of employees who are working in the service institutions, is that the proportional formula has been used in order to decide the sample size, because this formula is very convenient and a common formula that could be used in the condition when the total population is not known to determine the sample size that would involve in the research. So in this regard, 384 civil servants have been decided to be targeted in this study. And for the selection of these 384 employees, the multi-stage sampling technique has been employed. In this regard, at the first stage, cities have been selected by using a cluster sampling method. That means Addis Ababa, Adama, Harer, Dtta, and Asosa were selected on the basis of their geographical location. That means from the center of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa city administration has been selected. From the western, Adama has been, for eastern part of Ethiopia, Adama city has been selected. From the northwestern, Harer and the Dtta cities have been selected. And from eastern part of Ethiopia, Asosa city has been selected to pick for targeting this study. Then after selecting this city, these 5 cities, civil service institutions with their respective employees from these selected cities have been selected randomly, and these institutions comprise the educational institution, health institution, finance and economic institution, women and the youth affairs institution, education institution were selected with their respective employees to take part in this study for filling the survey questionnaire. And the survey questionnaire, which the 384 participants have filled, has been designed to comprise the items for addressing organizational culture, job satisfaction from the perspective of intrinsic and extrinsic skill, the intrinsic and extrinsic skill, and the employee's commitment from the 3 dimensions like the continence, normative, and affective dimensions. So in general, the data collection instrument has been designed in the way to capture these three most important elements of the study. I think that the audience is following me.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. In regard to analysis of data, the data have been collected by using survey questionnaire. So this collected data have been processed by using SPSS software to generate descriptive statistics as well as inferential statistics. And in regard to the descriptive statistics, frequency, percentage, and the mean or average were completed to see the current practice in organizational culture, job satisfaction of employees, as well as their commitment within the organization. And this data collection instrument or questionnaire has been designed by using five Likert scale. And the Likert scale data have been standardized by using the standard which was recommended by ANDRO, how the Likert scale data to be standardized in this regard. So if the response of the respondent falls between 1 to 2.5, then that is going to show the low level of practice. If the result or the response of a respondent falls between 2.5 and 3.5, that has been considered as a moderate level practice. If the response of the average response of the respondent falls between 3.5 to 5, then that has been considered as high level of practice, taking in the selected civil service institutions. When we converted this into percentage, if the response which has been converted to percentage falls between 20 to 50, 20 to 50, that is again the low level practice. If the percentage computed falls between 50% to 70%, that could be moderate level practice. And if it falls between 70% and 100%, then that represents high level practice of the practice in the organizational culture, job satisfaction, as well as commitment in the civil service organization. Inferential statistics has been also used in this study. From inferential statistics, ANOVA or analysis of variance has been considered in order to examine whether there is a difference among the employees in regard to their average job satisfaction and the commitment. And again, multiplier regression analysis has been employed in this study in order to see or examine which dimension of organizational culture has significant effect on the employee's job satisfaction and the commitment. And then finally, mediating role has been employed in order to examine whether the job satisfaction is playing a mediating role between and the relationship between organizational culture and employees' commitment. This is about the methodology which has been employed in this study. And now I'm coming to the results which have been found in this study. In regard to the objective of this, is the first one is to see the actual practice in the organizational culture. As all we know, organizational culture can be defined as a set of acceptable values shared among people who are working within the organization. And this organizational culture or the acceptable values that shared among employees who are working within the organization has been characterized with 5 elements like change management, goal achievement, team coordination, customer orientation, and the building organizational culture. And the study has found on average for the composite organizational culture 3.11, which is 62.226%. So on the basis of the standard which we have set in the methodology section, the current practice of organizational culture within the organization or making the values to be shared across all employees within the organization has been found at the moderate level in the civil service institutions in Ethiopia. Concerning employees' job satisfaction, this employee satisfaction has been measured using or considering 2 scales. The first one is intrinsic, This intrinsic is related with the self-actualization of the worker or the sense of self-accomplishment on their respective jobs. So this intrinsic job satisfaction of employees has been again addressed by using these 4 dimensions like ability utilization, whether employees are using their ability to maximum in the organization, whether they are in the position of achieving the intended goal, whether they are perceiving that they are recognized for their performance, whether they are properly discharging their responsibilities, and whether they are feeling as there is an opportunity for advancement. So in this regard, this intrinsic practice has been found on average again 3.06, which is nearly on percentage 61.21. This is again at the moderate level. The second scale of job satisfaction is extrinsic, which is highly related with external factors such as the implementation of organizational policies, supervision practice, and the reward system that is practicing within the organization, and employees have given their views or feeling in relation to the practice of organization in order to bring their extrinsic satisfaction. Again, this extrinsic satisfaction has been measured by considering 5 dimensions like company policy and the practice within the organization, the compensation strategy, the relationship with the co-workers or their colleagues, their supervisors, human relationship, that means their the relationship of their supervisor with them, and the supervisor's technical ability to support or to assist them, and the working condition. All the average of all this has been found 3.003, which is 60.64%. Again, this shows the extrinsic job satisfaction of employees is at the moderate level. Again, this the intrinsic and extrinsic job satisfaction has been aggregated and found on average 3.05, which compared to the percentage is 61%. And this shows the overall job satisfaction of employees in this civil service institution in Ethiopia is at the moderate level. Again, this job satisfaction of employees has been identified on the job positions. Here in Ethiopia, civil service institutions, the job position has been arranged from level 1 to level 22. Then, therefore, this the satisfaction has been again organized or classified on the basis of the job level of employees. So, the satisfaction level of employees at the level 1 to level 4 is on average 2.58 or 51.6%. From in the level 4 to level 8, it has been found on average 3.03 or 60.6%. In the level 9 to level 12, it has been found on average 3.04 and on percentage 6.8. From level 8 and above has been found 3.24 or 64.8 average. When we see from this as the level of job grade increase, that the satisfaction of employees also rises or goes up. Again, this has been tested by using ANOVA, and the ANOVA test assures that this difference, the average difference on the job satisfaction of employees across their position is statistically significant. Employees' commitment has been also addressed in this study, since it is one of the objectives of the study. And when we say commitment, it is psychological states that characterize the employee's relationship with an organization. That means a psychological states that characterize the feeling of employees to continue working with an organization. So this feeling of employees to continue working with an organization in the future has been measured by using 3 dimensions: the affective commitment, continuous commitment, and then normative commitment. As I said earlier, affective commitment is related with emotional attachment of the employees to the organization. That means the employees have high interest to continue working within that organization. Continuous commitment is related with the fear of the cost to leave that organization. If employees feel for the cost of leaving that organization or resigning that organization, they may decide continue working within their current organization, and that could be considered as continuous commitment. And the normative commitment is the feeling of obligation within the organization. That means if the organization has made investment on employees may feel that as the obligation to them, and that this feeling will influence them to continue working within that organization. So when we see the composite of these 3 dimensions of employees' commitment, it has been found on average 3.27, and in percent it is 65.4%, which indicates the average level of employees' commitment existing with the civil service institutions in Ethiopia. Again, this commitment level of employees has been addressed on the basis of the job grade level of employees. And when we go from the lower level of the lower job grade to the upper job grade of employees, again, this commitment level also goes up. Because at the low level, it is 57.6% or 2.88 on average. And this goes up to 67.4% at the top or the higher job grade level. And this difference has been also tested by using ANOVA, and the ANOVA test clearly confirms that the average difference of the employees' commitment across their job level is statistically significant. Then this study, the effect of these 5 dimensions of organizational culture on employees' job satisfaction and the commitment has been analyzed in this study. And the asterisks on the beta values show as those dimensions of organizational culture have statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment and their job satisfaction. For instance, when we see managing change, it has a statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment as well as the employees' job satisfaction. This means when the effect of organization on managing change increases by 1 unit, then the commitment level of employees will rise up by 0.263 units. And again, when the effect of the organization increases by 1 unit to manage change, then this will rise up the job satisfaction of employees by 0.174 units. Again, achieving a goal dimension of organizational culture has a statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment, which shows that a unit increase on effort of achieving goal could increase employees' commitment by 0.2 units, and a unit increase in effort of achieving goal rises up the job satisfaction of employees by 0.209 units. Coordinated teamwork does not have a statistically significant effect on both employees' commitment and employees' job satisfaction, but customer orientation has also a significant effect on employees' commitment at the 10%, and it has significant effect on the employees' job satisfaction at 1%. This shows that when the customer orientation of the organization rises up by 1 unit, this will increase the commitment of employees by 0.108 units. And when the customer unit increase on effort of customer orientation, the organization rises up the job satisfaction by 0.26 units. Organization building a strong culture or sharing value among employees has also significant effect on both employees' commitment and job satisfaction. This also shows a unity effort exerted to build a strong culture within the organization, rise up employees' commitment by 0.167 units, and increase the job satisfaction of employees again by 0.157 units when other factors remain constant. Then, since one of the objectives of this study is to examine whether job satisfaction plays a mediating role in the relationship between the organizational culture and employees' commitment. And this is going to be true when three conditions are fulfilled. The first condition is organizational culture must have significant effect on the employees' commitment, and this has been fulfilled because the study has found organizational culture has statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment. And the second is condition that must be fulfilled is the job satisfaction should have again statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment, and this has been found also true because job satisfaction has statistically significant effect on the employees' commitment. And the third one is organizational culture must have again significant effect on the job satisfaction, and it has been found also the organizational culture has a statistically significant effect on the job satisfaction. The fourth one is when we insert job satisfaction to model, the effect of organizational culture on the employees' commitment must be reduced for the job satisfaction to be considered as playing a mediating role. So in this regard, as you can see from this slide, the effect of organizational culture on the employees' commitment was 0.626, which was reduced to 0.372 when the job satisfaction was inserted to the model. This has shown about 40.5% decrease of organizational culture effect on the employees' commitment when job satisfaction is inserted to the model. So this confirms that job satisfaction plays a mediating role in the relationship between organizational culture and employees' commitment. I'm coming to conclusion, just to finalize my presentation. As we have seen from the presentation, the practice of organizational culture in terms of managing change, goal achievement, coordinated teamwork, customer rotation, the building strong culture were found at the moderate level in the current civil service institutions in Ethiopia. Again, the job satisfaction for all categories of employees in the civil service organization is at the moderate level, and the increase as the job grade of employees goes up. This difference has been also found statistically significant with the use of ANOVA. Again, employees have a relatively higher affective commitment than continence and normative dimension, which indicates that they have more emotional attachment with their current organization. The level of employees' commitment increase in the level of job position or grades, which has statistically again significant difference. That means the commitment of employees also increase when the level of position goes up or increase. The practice of organizational culture has statistically significant effect on both job satisfaction and the employees' commitment in the civil service institutions. And the study has found also the job satisfaction playing a partially mediating role in carrying the influence of organizational culture to the employees' commitment. Then it has been recommended in this way for the civil service institutions to improve the current practice of organizational culture as well as employees' commitment and the moderate level of job satisfaction, since they are very important. Therefore, it has been recommended as the leaders in the civil service organizations have to work hard on improving the current condition of organizational culture, since the four dimensions of organizational cultures are at the moderate level. So this could be improved in the future if there is a collective discussion with the employees on all affairs of the employees that being decided within the organization. Again, proper measurement of employees and the team performance to associate their performance with rewards. Since the performance measurement with the civil service institution, the current civil service institution is extremely weak. That was not associated with adequate rewarding system. So it is very important in order to improve this situation for improving the organizational culture. Strengthening the culture of focusing on customer satisfaction. Again, there is a gap in institutions to give attention for meeting the needs of customers. Therefore, organizations have to work strong in order to bring satisfaction to the customers whom they are serving. And again, they build a strong culture by allowing employees to have access to timely and accurate information about what is happening in the organization and the reason for this event is to take place within the organization. Since there is a gap in dissemination of information for what is going on the organization and what was planned to be done in the organization among employees. Since employees are part of the organization, they must know what has happened in the organization and why this event took place. Again, it is very important for the organization to revise the compensation scheme on the basis of the life cost and improving the work condition by fulfilling all required work facilities. As we have seen, the satisfaction level of employees is still at the moderate level. The moderate level requires attention. Otherwise, it is going to decline in the future. And this is highly associated with the compensation schemes. Why? Because the compensation scheme here in Ethiopian civil service institution is very poor. That does not allow employees to adjust their way of living with the current economic condition or the market cost. Finally, it is very important for organizations to periodically evaluate the performance of individuals objectively to promote them into higher position so that they will be more committed to contribute for the organizational goal achievements. It has been found that when the job position or the job grade goes up, the commitment and the satisfaction level of employees also increase. Therefore, it's very important always to periodically evaluate the performance of individuals and objectively in order to give the promotion opportunity for the employees to be promoted from their current position to the higher position, so that their commitment and the job satisfaction is believed to increase. So this is all about what I want to share with you. If you have any comment and questions, you are welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Terefe Zeleke. It was indeed a nice and in detail presentation. Now I declare that the session is open for question and answer.
Hello, may I ask, sir? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good morning. It is very nice to follow your presentation. I have two observations, sir. One is when you are presenting the mean, you have not shown the variability, that is the standard deviation, and that is very important, sir. Another thing, that is this percentage calculation, that is the mean divided by 5, because it's a 5-point rating scale. Sir, sure. This should be revised because this is not very clear. So when you when you make some categorization, then it is possible to make the percentage. If it is yes, no, then you can think about the percentage. But sure, when it is mean, it is better to use the standard deviation. Another thing related to your mediated analysis, you can, in future, sir, you can do work on this mediated regression analysis. I think that provides you maximum information rather than only this path analytic model. So this is my observation. Thank you, sir. It's very nice presentation. I have learned many things. In my PhD, I have also studied this issue, specifically your organizational commitment. That is the part of organizational health, my doctoral dissertation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hello, sir. Myself, Dr. Girish Naik. My question to you is, you touched a very crucial topic, that is employee satisfaction and organizational commitment. Very few organizations are talking now. Even very few Fortune 500 companies are mentioning this. Now, coming to your observations, is a 60%, average 60 to 60% is the outcome of Ethiopian civil services, giving that employee commitment, internal, intrinsic, as well as extrinsic satisfaction. What's the benchmark value? And as far as civil service is concerned, these are the engines of growth, which they directly transform the policies of organizations to the developmental work. So is there a fault in the organizational structure design, or is there performance management issues, or is there appraisal issues of civil services, or is the civil services is failing to meet the current trends? This is my question to you, sir. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible, sir? Is the question is okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
Is-
sir.
Is there more question, or may I reflect to this one?
No, sir. You have to reply to this one, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay. For the first issue, I think it is a comment, and I'm going to consider, of course, I tried to compete standard deviation, but most of the time, statisticians or economists do not recommend the calculation of standard deviation for the Likert scale data, since the scale is from 1 to 5. They assume, or they feel this standard deviation does not make a sense. That argument is there. That's why I removed this standard deviation from the main document as well, not only from the, because statisticians and the economists have high concern on standard deviation, with assumptions that this standard deviation doesn't give meaning to the Likert scale data within a range from 1 to 5. In the percentage calculation, as you said, it has been calculated. The actual response, the quotient of actual response of the respondent to the maximum Likert scale, that is 5 times 100%. It has been calculated in that way. Of course, I have to show it in the presentation how this the mean the percentage has been computed. That's what I have missed in the presentation as well as in the main document. I have to show how the percentage has been computed. In regard to mediation regression, as you said, it's possible to use the mediation analysis as well. But as I presented, within the use of regression analysis, by considering the 3 steps, the result is also assumed to be the same if the mediation regression analysis is going to be used. Of course, it's possible, it's advisable to mostly use mediation and regression analysis than the regression analysis of these 3 steps for examining the mediating role of the mediator in the relationship between the dependent and independent variables. For the future, I will do that. For the second question, the benchmark for the most of the 60% practice level of employees' commitment, job satisfaction, and organizational culture. At the organizational level, there is no standard. There is no standard for what level of practice is moderate, what level of practice is low, and what level of practice is high. To solve this problem, if you have seen, I showed the standard which was recommended by one scholar. What percentage of the variable to be considered as low, what percentage is going to be considered as high, and what to be considered as moderate. So I have considered that standard which was set by Andro 2017 for the percentage of Likert scale data, but there is no standard in the civil service institutions where this study has been carried out for comparing, the result. In regard to the current lower level of practice in the job satisfaction, the commitment, that there are many problems within the organization, of course, in the civil service institutions here in Ethiopia, and those many problems have been clearly presented in the main document. Because of the time and again, making the slide manageable, most things have not been presented here. The challenges are, the performance measurement, especially performance measurement of employees in the civil service institution in Ethiopia is very problematic. There is no criteria or instruments that have been designed in the organization in order to differentiate the best performer from the poor performer. Due to this, there is no mechanism in the civil service institutions in order to reward the best performer from the poor performer. So whether they perform poor or best, they going to be paid only the monthly salary. Beyond that, there is no other mechanism associated to the performance of individuals in order to encourage or motivate them to the future. That is the problem, and that's why I forwarded one recommendation as the performance evaluation of employees must be critically considered within the organization in order to differentiate the best performer from the poor performer, so that best performer is going to be eligible for certain rewards in addition to their salary that will increase their satisfaction and the commitment.
Thank you, sir. So as we have to start with the next keynote address, we have to we are running short of time, so we have to stop here. But thank you so much, sir, for your informative address, and it was a very detailed presentation. He precisely highlighted that how employee job satisfaction affects the employee's commitment and the role of organizational culture in employee job satisfaction and commitment. He also touched various aspects of influence of organizational culture on employees' commitment in his research. So I'm sure that everyone from the audience has gained very useful knowledge from your address. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request my colleague, Professor Ayu Gaikwad, to introduce today's second keynote speaker.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
So good morning. So again, I'm over here to introduce Dr. Pradipta Kadambari. And ma'am, initially I'm saying sorry, apologize. We are running slightly late out of our schedule. Dr. Pradipta Kadambari is currently the campus chief at Kadambari Memorial College and has basically a bachelor's degree in social work, a master's degree in science, and a master's degree in international family studies. A founder member of, and now the head of Kadambari Memorial College of Science and Management, also known as KMC in Nepal. She has been involved in the Purbanchal University for curriculum revision of bachelor's and master's level programs. She was a senator of the Purbanchal University and currently chairs the social work subject committee of the university. Basically, she's a social worker educator with more than a decade-long experience in teaching at master's and bachelor level courses in science and social work. At KMC, she also looks after the development of social work program. She's a psychological support trainer and a researcher, and she has also been a research coordinator and a collaborative researcher with different universities across the globe, like the Griffith University, Ohio State University, the University of Utah, Liverpool John Moores University, and Windsor University in Canada, in different aspects of social work. She has also been engaged with Variety Southeast Asia as a researcher assistant and has also been involved with NGOs as a consultant and a resource person. She also heads the International Relationship as well as Research Center at KMC. She has been a convener and chair of various international conferences and has presented papers in various international conferences with a variety of research publications in social work, education, and practices. So we have a very esteemed guest today who will be addressing us, and over to you, ma'am, now. I welcome you for this address. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And namaste to everyone. I'm Pradipta, but I have to do some correction. I'm not a doctorate, so I don't hold the degree of doctorate.
Sorry, ma'am.
And I come with a degree of international family studies, and other things are quite okay. Today, it's my pleasure to share my thoughts. Actually, I just was listening to the last presentation with the data, scientific facts, and all. What I'm coming here now is not with the research or this empirical evidences. All what I'm going to talk is my experiences of leading a college, at the second college of social work in Nepal from last 10 years. And then again, being a member of and chairing a curriculum development committee or revision committee of Purvanchal University, and looking into the aspect of social work. We are here talking about the future global business and technology. So it's all is my thinking, my thoughts of where does social work fit in the global business? Is it always a non-profit or a service? Or can there is a business model of social work? The talk I'm having with you all is probably
Hello, ma'am. You've gone on mute.
sorry.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Audible.
Okay. So today I have actually, did you hear about what I told about my own experiences of teaching, training, and watching the phenomena of social work?
No, ma'am. I think we missed that out.
Okay. So as I was mentioning, I come here with my experiences of teaching, training, and watching, especially the phenomena of social workers, their employability in the work market. And I have woven my thoughts into two threads, with the two threads. One, the thread of social work, and another, the business. One comes from my social work involvement as social work educator, and another comes from my work in the area of fair hiring in the international labor market. First, I would like to talk about social work. As we all know that social work evolved from the philanthropical model, the volunteerism from North America, and established itself as a profession in the global North. While in global South, it is still in process of establishing itself as a profession. Nepal is also in the same situation. When we study established social work, we see the contribution of academic institution in training and also guiding the direction of social workers' working area in different settings and sectors. We can see how it has moved from community development, the group work, to the case work, clinical social work, and now social care in that part of the world. Looking into Nepal, Our graduates are working mostly in nonprofits, and I feel that it is more true with South Asia. They are working in nonprofits, NGOs, and academic institutions, very less in government sectors in case of Nepal. They are mostly engaged in community development and social justice setting. If I look into the curriculum from 2005 to 15 of Purvanchal University was also designed to train students on working in different settings on human rights, social justice, as all social work curricular are doing. At that time, it was focused on grant seeking and fundraising as the means of financial sustainability of social work projects. In 2016, when the curriculum was revised, the revision committee strongly believed that there was a need to train students in entrepreneurship. The course that aims to train social work in building social entrepreneurship amongst their beneficiaries and also to be a social entrepreneur so that the dependency on grants can be minimized. The course holds social entrepreneurship with the norms and characteristics of nonprofit. When I look into the employability aspect of social work, I see them either employed in NGO, INGO, as I said before, or self-employed in self-initiated NGOs, which is good. But is that all that social workers can do? Social workers know about the multidisciplinary approach of working. They know that there is a need for a multidisciplinary team of professionals to address many social issues and solve problems. But they are not seen working with the team, especially in the health and social well-being sector. If it were mental health issues, there would be a need to work with a psychologist, psychiatric doctors, school teachers, etc. Similarly, if we look into the school social work, there is also a need to work with the different professionals together. But what is happening now is the social workers are asking other professionals to involve them with their team, which is tricky in Nepal. Social work is still new and is on its journey to be recognized as a profession. Hence, working in a health sector or a school sector as a team member is not happening. Likewise, there is a need of social care centers. It may be for elderly or patient care in the recovery stage. There are few elderly care centers running, especially by nursing care or other discipline, but the holistic social care aspect is still missing. Hence, I now see a need for a shift in our graduates' thought or thinking, a shift from being a job seeker to job creator. Instead of going and asking for them to include them, instead, they can set up an agency on their own and hire other professionals to work with them. They should be entrepreneurs, not necessarily of a nonprofit. It can be a business that integrate the value and principle of social work and also a profit. I'm sure that when social workers build a social care agencies as a company, they will be ethical managers and carry their business with ethics of human service along with profits. Hence, I see a time has come to teach and train social workers about the business model of social work, setting up, start up a business plan, a social venture, and technology that can be used in changing the life of people towards their well-being. The next is the business. I have involved in studies of ethical recruitment of migrant labor in Nepal and Malaysia corridor, and also training myself in ethical recruitment, audit of recruitment agencies. The world market had changed. There is a movement of ethical business. The ILO Core Convention, US Federal Acquisition Regulation, UK Modern Slavery Act, and California Transparency in Supply Chain are directing manufacturing companies to clean their supply chain from forced labor, modern slavery, trafficking, and non-transparency, etc. The transparency in wages, the standards of living conditions, the freedom to lead, collective bargaining are example of some of the ethical practices coming as criteria in doing manufacturing business. The business world is incorporating the social justice and low labor welfare component. Hence, when I look into the two threads of social work and business, I see them not only going together, but living together, weaving a service that has the norms and value of social work and also an ethical profit contributing to social change and social development. It will be a slow but sustainable process. And there would not be the fear of losing funding support from donor and leaving the mission in between. We as social work educators now have to think about this and incorporate the content in our curriculum so that our social work graduates not only think of themselves as an employee, but also as an employer of both nonprofit and for-profit business ventures. I come with this thoughts. Thank you very much for listening to me. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you for that wonderful presentation. I now declare that the session is open for question and answers. I would request the delegates to ask questions to ma'am.
If I sound relevant.
Hello, good morning, ma'am. Thank you for your talk for this international conference. Now, my question to you is that in Asia, we could see that after COVID-19, there is lots of changes in scenario for social worker. So in that prospect, how do you throw light that what are the new challenges for social worker after new normal?
Yes, thank you, sir. And the talk I was talking about, can social work be a business model, also comes from observing the effect or experiencing the effect of COVID-19. The COVID-19 there is a huge spot in the funds from a donor in NGOs in Nepal, I can say from a Nepal experiences. And there has been like very good projects they have to be stopped or not continue for a long time. For example, I was involved in a project in parental care rights, but with the donor crunches, it has been continued from last 6 years, and there is now a question, and that's what give me that thought: like, should the social worker always have to rely on the donors or the fund that is coming from elsewhere? Why can't they get that self-sustainable, get into a business model and do that? And then if there is anything social project, they can contribute that too. So this is one way. Another one thing. Another is, yes, COVID, the new normal for a social work is it's both. It has come with both like challenges, the challenges like that, and the opportunity of opportunity too, like the digital, through digital medium. Now we can reach to many people. May it be a school or a research. I have been involved with two research where we are using digital medium. Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
So
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, digital medium to collect the data. So our reach has been extended. Yeah, that's
okay. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We have one more question for you.
Hello, madam. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
We heard your thoughts about making social work sustainable by introducing the element of, business in it. Is it so? Am I right?
Yeah? Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So you also talked about social entrepreneurship and making it a part of social work. Is it?
Yes,
uh,
yes.
Am I understanding right? Okay, so you have implemented it somewhere, and what is the sort of business model that they are supposed to adopt in order to fulfill both their objectives, social work as well as business?
Yeah, so it's not happened. It's in my thought is still, and I'm encouraging my student to pursue thinking about a business model. Now, the social care is what I see is a perspective in a social work coming as a business, like the elderly care centers, or another one is rehabilitation centers of the patient who has gone for a trauma, accidents, and others. So there is a huge gap in the health sector where social worker can pursue their changing the social works model of changing people's life or solving people's problem, incorporating the company as a business venture.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Any more questions? I think no more questions. So I thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful talk where you spoke about social work, social entrepreneurship, sustainability of social work, going into thinking about whether social workers can go beyond the normal NGOs and do something else, speaking about ethicality. So it really touched upon a lot of aspects, urging social workers, students to be multidisciplinary in their approach. So I really thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I think we'll have a short break for tea. We have a 15 minutes break, and our next speaker, Dr. Dtta Roy, he will be online at 12 o'clock sharp.
Can sit around the round table. Participants, those who are going to present the papers, can sit around the round table. Welcome back after a short break, and we are ready to go. I am here to introduce you all with today's third keynote speaker, Dr. Dtta Roy. Welcome, sir. Dr. Dtta Roy is the head and associate professor of the Psychology Research Unit of Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta. He is also founder president of the Rabindrik Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust based in Calcutta. He received PhD in organizational psychology from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur in 1990. He is also registered PhD supervisor of the Calcutta University, and 5 students have received PhD under his able guidance. He is currently teaching human resource management at West Bengal University of Teachers Training, Education Planning and Administration. Dr. Dtta is the Regional Secretary of the Indian School Psychology Association. He is member of the editorial board of the Journal of Management Research in Emerging Economics and Journal of Organization and Human Behavior. Dr. Roy is international speaker. He acted as resource person in the SAARC countries. He has delivered more than 116 lectures as a resource person in India and abroad in the countries like China, Bangkok, Nepal, Dubai, Malaysia, and Japan. His area of interest are measurement of psychological phenomena. He has written more than 107 research papers, which are published in Indian and foreign journals. He has written 18 book chapters on the various issues. Dr. Roy has authored 2 books titled Principles of Questionnaire Development and Introduction to R Programming. It's our honor to hear from you, sir. We can start with your session. Over to you, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir. You are audible, sir.
On behalf of Indian Statistical Institute and Rabindranath Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, I share my regards to all the office bearers, my best wishes to all the students of CSIBER. Now, is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, CSIBER, for organizing this international conference. When we are passing through the industrial revolution, 5th industrial revolution, we are thinking about the machine learning, we are thinking about the artificial intelligence, then definitely your conference on future global business and technology challenges ahead, that will be very much fruitful. This is our logo. This logo is about the Rabindranath Psychotherapy Research Institute. It includes the 3 layers of consciousness. This is our research methodology. Tamosho ma Jyotir Gamayo. So this Jyotir Gamayo means reliability and Tamosho means error. So each score includes true variance and error variance. So the institute aims to control the error variance in order to get the reliable and valid information. This is the emblem of Indian Statistical Institute. Here you can find the banyan tree. The banyan tree gives you the impression that any sort of complex data that can be handled by Indian Statistical Institute. Indian Statistical Institute can provide the shelter to the large number of people who are very much interested in statistics, mathematics, quantitative approaches, quantitative models, and also who want to study the statistics, mathematics, and today my presentation will be machine learning in personnel selection. In machine learning, 2 approaches is there. One is the statistical model. Another one is the computer science model. So here, I will give importance on the statistical model. Recently, I retired from my position. So therefore, I have written here ex-head. I am thankful to CSIBER, Kolhapur. My heartfelt thanks to Professor Rajendra Parijat, who requested me to give lecture in this August gathering. I am thankful to all the office bearers of this conference, whose hardship makes the conference successful. CSIBER is associated Shivaji Maharaja's name. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he taught us self-awakening, feeling of autonomy, fearlessness. My deep regards to Shivaji Maharaj as well as the founder of CSIBER. Rabindranath Tagore, he himself wrote one poem about Shivaji Maharaj. When I am studying Shivaji Maharaj, then I am thinking of this poem, which is very much applicable for Shivaji Maharaj. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. So this is our institute, Indian Statistical Institute, and Professor Prashanto Chandra Mahalanovish, the father of Indian statistics. He founded this institute on 17 December 1931. Our institute gained the status of an institution of national importance by an act of the Indian Parliament in 1959. The headquarters of Indian Statistical Institute is located in the northern fringe of the metropolis of Kolkata. Additionally, there are 4 centers located in Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and Tezpur. Research in statistics and related disciplines is the primary activity of the institute. Teaching activities are undertaken mainly in Kolkata, Delhi, and Bangalore. Offices of the institute, located in several other cities in India, are primarily engaged in projects and consultancy in statistical quality control and operation research. We have very small unit in Pune. So definitely our institute has some location in Maharashtra. Indian Statistical Institute offers several undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctoral degree programs. The bachelor's and master's program in statistics, popularly known as BStat and MStat, are flagship programs of the institute, which are internationally acclaimed. The institute has several divisions for academic discourse. Social Sciences Division is one of them. Psychology Research Unit is its part. Psychology Research Unit has been engaged in developing statistical models for application in building psychological theories and also the consultancies. Now I am privileged to introduce Ravindric Psychotherapy Research Institute Trust, or RPRIT. RPRIT is Higher Learning Institute registered under Indian Trust Act 1882. The trust provides short-term certificate courses on statistics, research methodology, statistical softwares, and several applied courses of psychology and allied sciences, like applied psychometrics, telemental counseling, school psychology, forensic psychology, environmental psychology, etc. Students are engaged to write technical report, dissertations, journal publications, training manual, and book chapter writing. Students received academic awards through the paper presentation. Now I am directly coming to the personnel selection. What is the aim of personnel selection? Aim of the personnel selection is to make PE fit. Here P means person and E means the job. Job means the job responsibilities to perform. Each individual has unique and common characteristics that may be related to perform specific job successfully. In personnel selection, tendency lies classification of specific people out of large number of incumbents or applicants. When data size was very large, it becomes difficult to select the person manually. Here, computer-assisted system is required. Machine acts as assistant to perform the classification through computer algorithm. Computer algorithm in personnel selection follows two important statistical models. That is classification and regression or prediction. In classification, output variable is a category, such as red or green, or may be indicated by scale, like least, less, high, and very high. In regression problem, output is the real value, such as true or false. This classification and regression model assumes that all the data will be labeled early. Therefore, this is called supervised machine learning. In supervised machine learning, data are already tagged with correct answer. After that, the machine is provided with a new set of examples so that supervised learning algorithm analyzes the training data and produces a correct outcome from labeled data. So when we are using discriminant function analysis, so there you can find out this supervised learning algorithm. Curriculum vitae analysis is evaluation of one's life journeys and human personalities of candidates. Recruiters must be able to thoroughly examine resumes in order to hire the right person at the right time. Every great recruitment strategy revolves around the requirement for efficient and effective resume screening. Its main role is to detect the eligibility of people who are applying to job vacancies or higher education program. Machine learning replaces the tedious task of manual processing of CVs, and it will provide good evaluative output. In general, personal information like age, education, caste, etc., academic background, professional experience, soft and technical skills are considered as inputs. The inputs will be labeled initially using criterion. So these are the stages of curriculum vitae data analysis. It includes system parameterization, training data collection, model data-based creation, data extraction, and data cleaning, data mining and model training, pattern recognition. Next is the prediction of output. In the present presentation, I will focus only on the data mining and the model building. System parametrization. Parametrization is a mathematical process consisting of expressing the state of a system, process or model as a function of some independent quantities called parameters. Suppose one industry wants to hire one who has completed engineering degree in computer science, MBA, age range from 25 to 30 years. The first step that was conducted is to train the evaluation algorithm using historical CVs and using some existing data set. It is an essential exercise to guarantee the accuracy of results. This can be done by determining the parameters to evaluate the CV quantitatively. The parameters are considered based on their usability and their helpfulness in providing the quality of the CV. For instance, technologies practiced by the applicant is an important attribute to evaluate in the CV and has a weighted value of 5 points for this type. One decision table may be formulated. For example, part software is 1 weight and total weights multiplied with 5. Training data collection. Initially, data are split into two unequal halves, training and test data. So 70-30 percentage. Training data will be more. Training data will be used in the model. Collecting data for training, the machine learning model is the basic step in the machine learning pipeline. The predictions made by ML systems can only be as good as the data on which they have been trained. Following are some of the problems that can arise in data collection. Inaccurate data. The collected data could be unrelated to the problem statement. Missing data. That is, subdata could be missing. That could take the form of empty values in columns or missing images for some class of prediction. Data imbalance. Some classes or categories in the data may have a disproportionately high or low number of corresponding samples. As a result, they risk being underrepresented in the model. Data bias. Depending on how the data, subjects and labels themselves are chosen, the model could propagate inherent biases on gender, politics, age, or region. For example, data bias is difficult to detect and remove. Pre-processing training data. It includes data cleaning. These techniques, manual and automated, remove the data incorrectly added or classified. Data imputations. Most ML frameworks include methods and APIs for balancing or filling in missing data. Techniques generally include imputing missing values with standard deviation, mean, median, and k nearest neighbors of the data in the given field. Oversampling, bias or imbalance in the data set can be corrected by generating more observations or samples with methods like repetition and then adding them to the underrepresented classes. Undersampling causes underrepresentation. Therefore, it is better to sampling the data across different classifications. Data integration. Combining multiple data sets to get a large corpus can overcome incompleteness in a single data set. Data normalization. The size of a data set affects the memory and processing required for iterations during training. Normalization reduces the size by reducing the order and magnitude of the data. Model database creation. This step is to create a CV dataset. Around 1,000 CVs were randomly selected from the database of CVs available and epitaph from candidates' applications. The CVs selected were based on the following criteria. The candidate whose CV has been selected should have applied for any of the international programs that are available. The admission process of the file should have been completed. Therefore, the final status of the application is already known. Have a good combination of accepted and rejected CVs, along with the combination of CVs of different programs that the candidates applied for. Data extraction and data cleaning. The main objective of this step is to parse information from a CV using natural language processing and find the keywords, cluster them onto parameters based on their keywords. Natural language processing refers to the branch of computer science, and more specifically, the branch of artificial intelligence or AI. It is concerned with giving computers the ability to understand text and spoken words in much the same way human beings can. NLP combines computational linguistics, rule-based modeling of human language with statistical machine learning and deep learning models. Together, these technologies enable computers to process human language in the form of text or voice data and to understand its full meaning, complete with the speaker or writer's intent and sentiment. Finally, NLP assists in transforming the text data to numeric 0 and 1.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes.
We have next keynote address at 12:30, just to inform you, sir.
Okay. So in the current study, data were collected from 209 customer service representative of one microfinance company using achievement scale. So this is the item statistics. This is the item total correlation. So this is the box plot of achievement motivation. This is the raw data. This is the inter-item correlation coefficients. So this raw data will be used for the principal component analysis. So here you can find out the first factor and the first factor loadings. This is the scree plot. And this is the first factor loading. So I have identified the weightage on the factors. So these are the four statements having high weightage. So next, I have computed the factor score. So this is the factor score. So now here you can find out the factor score distribution. So here we can find out the difference between the raw data and the factor score data. This is the classification of the people by using the k-means cluster analysis. So now I have noted 1, 2, 3, 3 categories of people are there. And I find the 2 category, they are getting the high score in all the factors. Okay. So I can, and after that, I have done the ANOVA. ANOVA is significant. So these 3 categories are significantly different. So select 94 people That is 45% of the total for the job, wherein high achievement motivation is required. So summary, psychological data is very powerful for personnel selection. In machine learning, computer algorithm is to be designed based on statistical data analysis. Psychological data is multidimensional and may be affected by random and fixed errors. Multidimensional psychological data is affected by multicollinearity or data redundancy. Principal component analysis is best solution for data reduction. Current study has shown factor scores based on PCA show good individual differences in comparison with the raw data. In order to classify people based on the factor score, non-hierarchical cluster analysis or K-means cluster analysis correctly classified people on the basis of the level of psychological construct. Here, achievement motivation data is used. One-way ANOVA results indicate that the groups are significantly classified. Finally, multidimensional psychological data can be used for machine learning in personnel selection. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was nice to hear from you. Now I declare that session is open for question answer.
Yes, can you hear me, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, madam.
Sir, at the outset, I thank you for your excellent presentation. The problem, whichever you considered, was very relevant to and very interesting problem. Sir, one question I'm having. So whenever you go for the parameter extraction from the resumes, so it is from the unstructured data where you are going for extracting the parameters. So is there any predefined structure for the resumes? Because the data set, if you are creating, then how NLP is used in extracting the important parameters from the resumes?
Okay, thank you, madam. There is one concept, that is a sentiment analysis. So by using the sentiment analysis, you can select the specific parameter that will be considered for the weightage to the CP.
Does it work with the unstructured data?
Yes, in case of the CV, it is possible because initially you have to collect this weightage from the expert group.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So as sir rightly mentioned in his address, that technology is playing pivotal role in all aspects of any business. He explained how machine learning statistical modeling can assist in recruitment and selection process. Sir explained all the complicated terms in very simple language so that it can be easy to understand to laymen. Sir highlighted importance of machine learning in the personnel selection and how it can eliminate any kind of bias which is present in the selection process and eliminating the human errors in the selection process, so that a business or organizations can ultimately end up with hiring efficient manpower. So it was indeed a good presentation. Thank you so much for your address. Now I request Professor Ayu Gaikwad to introduce with the next keynote speaker.
Hello, good morning, Maria. Thank you, Roy sir. Maria, now we can go ahead with your session. Good morning to you and welcome to online presentation from India from our team. I hand over charge to Anuradha Gaikwad, madam. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And as per the Indian Standard Time, ma'am, good afternoon to you. I'm here to introduce you. Maria Morfidou is a social worker. Basically, she has completed her BA in social working from the Demokritis University of Thrace in Greece. After that, she has completed her master's with a MSc in Administration and Provision of Services from the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens, Greece, and also her master's in Human Resource Management from the same university. She has a rich and varied experience as a social worker and has worked as a social worker in the municipality of Pradipta as a head social worker, in the municipality of Doksato, and presently she is working with municipality of Thermi at its community center as a head social worker. She has an overall 17 years of professional experience in various fields of social service, consultation of adults and children, and her skills include networking, public planning, and her daily mission is to provide substance for various people to overcome their personality or family matters. Today, she will be addressing us on community services in Greece during the COVID-19 era. Ma'am, I hand over the podium to you. I request you to start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning from Greece and Thessaloniki. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Good morning then. Good afternoon to you. I will start sharing my presentation. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable guests, distinguished professors and dear social workers and dear students, I am delighted to participate in this conference. Thank you deeply for giving me the opportunity to share a social worker's experience from the Greek community. I am Maria Morfidou, a practitioner social worker from Thessaloniki, Greece. My master's degree was in human resources management. I have been active in the field for 17 years, and since 2017, I work for the community center of Thermi as a head social worker. This is the distance between Thessaloniki and Kolhapur. It's too a long distance. But technology gives us the opportunity to be together today. It is always a challenge for me to share my experiences from social work practice in Greece, but also learn from other countries' practices. That is why it is always a pleasure to collaborate with countries of Asia, and especially to share our experience in community social services during the COVID-19 era, a period that many people suffered and needed our support. On my presentation, I will focus on the case of the community center of Thermi. This is our logo. It means supporting the citizens, empowering the society. Community centers played an important role as a protector of well-being, acting as a shield for essential human needs and rights. You have probably have heard about all the troubles my country has underwent for the last 12 years. Greece is a part of Europe, is a country member of Europe. We have a lot of economical issues and financial. This was like the Greek recession problem for us. And it is not an exaggeration to call it a Greek tragedy. The effects of financial difficulties in Greece around 2010 left us without the necessary infrastructure to cope with a series of challenges we faced. The reduction of GDP for the average household, or in many cases, the complete loss of income and the extreme unemployment has led to a rapid drop of standards in living. The state's poor financial condition meant that infrastructures were neglected and poorly maintained. The society's fatigue led to slow reactions to challenges that created even more negative momentum. One significant piece in the puzzle was also the refugee humanitarian crisis, as Greece was the main welcoming country for refugees of the Syrian civil war. And of course, we also had the COVID-19 era that totally was a very difficult situation for us to handle. In parallel, during this era, we also faced severe ecological disasters such as fires, earthquakes, and floods. As a consequence of the previous, and as recorded by the Hellenic Statistical Authority, there was an increase at the risk of poverty up to 2016. The situation has started to improve from 2017 on, but COVID-19 pandemic has again twisted the situation. As you can see, according to 2021 statistics, the mean equivalized disposable income per person in Greece is around 10,000 euros, with the poverty threshold being around 11,000 euros per family or around 5,000 euros for a person. You can also see the data in your country's currency, Indian rupees. And research indicates that children are the most vulnerable group that, besides the obvious effects, can also influence the future growth rate of the society. In terms of income inequality, 2021 statistics indicate that there is an imbalance of distribution of income between the highest and lowest income groups. On the one hand, a quarter of population with the highest income represents almost 46% of the national income, and the quarter that represents the lowest income is a mere 10% of the national income. This is a brief retrospective of social policies in Greece. For the last 30 years, social policies in Greece had the mentality focusing on financial aiding. This system, although not perfect, assisted troubled cases, but in the long term led to procrastination of the beneficiaries because people were feeling reassured, and an inertia on the behalf of the state. In my opinion, this is a vicious circle. For example, the Social Protection Benefits Program, according to the latest data from 2019, was around 41 billion euros. In this slide, you can see the distribution of benefits according to category. I will stay a little bit here. These are all official data from the Hellenic Statistical Authority. And as you can see, it is a very late that they publish it. They publish it in 2022, but it concerns 2019. We're very slow. Another cog in this vicious circle is the infamous Greek bureaucracy. Until recently, reactions between citizens and the state were not unified, but limited to independent services. The beneficiaries had to face the extended bureaucracy queues, paperwork, waiting time, and often in multiple agencies and departments. Besides the inconvenience and lost work hours, a major consequence was the feeling of frustration towards the Greek administration. For the remaining part, I will briefly present the measures for social healing and especially the active participation of community centers. Launched in 2017, the community centers became a starting point for a swift adjustment in social care and solidarity. It consists of a national network of 250 municipalities, and it is a European co-funded program. Although not solving the root cause of the problem, In my humble opinion, it is a very decent approach of providing social services. We will now be focusing on the case of the municipality of Fermi, where I work as a head social worker, with a diverse composition of geographical areas, both urban and countryside, and habitants. Fermi is a unique location with an agro-urban setup consisting of natural landscape and modern city architecture. Its local economy is a combination of agricultural, industrial, tech, and tourism enterprises. In terms of demographic, it is a mixture of indigenous, non-local, recent habitants, foreigners, immigrants, and refugees. We also are hosting refugees from Ukraine. This composition presents different financial statuses and educational levels. But of course, as you can see, we are talking about, I think that these numbers are some kind of funny for you because you have many population in your country, and it is like talking like a neighborhood for you, I think. But for us, is a municipality, small one. So to overcome all the challenges, we needed a novel approach of social policies. Up to 1990s, the Greek population was highly indigenous. Since then, our society has welcomed citizens from all over the world that required from community centers to adopt a local social policy strategy with a focus on human aspect. The innovative help desk approach that runs completely by scientific personnel gives us the advantage of direct communication with the citizen. The basic pylons of the new social policies are aiming at the broader well-being. Some of the actions are the supply of a guaranteed minimum income, minimum solidarity income, and a series of provision of services for basic necessities, food, utilities, subsidies, free transportation, lifelong educational programs, awareness campaigns, workshops, crisis interventions for ecological disasters. As a reference of the year of 2021, we processed approximately 14,000 applications for the minimum solidarity income. And I also wanted to highlight the lifelong learning programs because we have established a collaboration with UNESCO, a network of learning cities. We are a member, a city member of UNESCO Learning Cities, and we provide our citizens lifelong learning programs under the help of UNESCO Learning Cities. I will now describe more specifically about the situation during the COVID-19 years. As in many regions of the world, the Greek government tried to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. These policies greatly affected the caregiving towards the vulnerable. That was unprecedented for the Greek society that traditionally nurtures and provides for those in need, going back to the roots of ancient Greek civilization. Other important consequences were limited access to public services. Local economy was, of course, affected due to lockdowns, increased feeling of stress, and psychological fatigue. Disrupted social interactions and state of isolation also were terms that we had to handle. Family caregivers had difficulty in providing quality and on timely basis care with no boundaries between work and home, because many of us were working from distant. And we also had to give our support to people that we had to help in-house. General population neglecting their health issues, fearing contamination. And also, I would like to add that there was also limited access to services of health. We were focusing as a country to how to treat COVID situations and how to prevent contamination. These are some practical difficulties of implementing social strategies that consisted of stay-at-home isolation, inability to access conventional medical services, priority only to COVID-19 treatment, hesitation from the citizen to request assistance because it was clear that he could not have assistance as he should. And sometimes we faced the feeling of shame because they were affected by COVID-19 and it was a kind of a feeling ashamed that I have COVID-19, which was clearly acceptable and normal. Vulnerable populations difficulty in following health protocols. That was also a difficulty that we had. They were confused on how to treat themselves and how to keep their hygiene standards in order not to be immediately affected by COVID. Our best practices can be concentrated to the following three main areas. First, how we conducted social services as we became an even more personalized service. We also used many ways of communication. It was more flexible and we used every means available. Lastly, the coordination of social services required increased efforts. We embraced new approaches like telehelp devices and greatly utilizing the Help at Home project and established service more than 20 years. In our community, we were also very impressed of the volunteers' participation and citizens' feedback. We had a very active community, and our community members had a great role in this fight against COVID and isolation. Our experience during COVID-19 helped us to clarify and adopt our core mentality that we should never forget that we're talking about people. We're not just talking about numbers in some application. Of course, applications are really helpful and technology always help us to be a step, to make a step further. But as I was reading the other day that Elon Musk has created a metaverse and he has great plans for our future and in a metaverse like universe. But okay, we are also human. We need to live a normal life. So every person has a special story. We need to listen to it. And we need to shift from the traditional way of treating people like to more innovative approaches because our needs are different now. We also need to focus on lifelong learning programs and how to coach citizens. And we also promote through our work in community centers, empathy, solidarity, and positivity to the community. That is what people need to hear and be empowered for. I would like to close my speech with my main belief that have defined me in my career as a social worker. that is ensuring and protecting human dignity, because all of the above mentioned are being implemented with social work science, but also with ethics. That is why 2021's and 2022's global campaigns from the International Federation of Social Workers were Ubuntu, I am because you are, we are, and leaving no one behind, focusing on ecological issues and environmental, which they are strongly related to ethics. I always emphasize to Ubuntu in my speeches because it encompasses the interdependence of humans on another, and the acknowledgement of one's responsibility to their fellow humans and the world around them. That is very powerful for me. And I would like to thank you for your attention. It was an honor being with you today. Thank you very much for letting me participate in your conference.
Thank you, ma'am. And a wonderful end to your presentation with Ubuntu, I am, so you are, and we are. I declare this session open for question and answers. So we could have one question.
Namaste from India. So, yeah, and upcoming Christmas wishes also to you and to the land of Greece.
Thank you.
I just want to know some two clarifications, like you mentioned under social services, that is scientific confidentiality, and at the same time that lifelong learning programs organization. So could you please give us more idea on these two? Thank you.
Yes, of course. We work in a two-level basis. We have established our collaboration with UNESCO Learning Cities. It is a very demanding system from UNESCO. Not every city can be part of it and be a member. There are some qualifications that the municipality has to be in. So after 2016, that we managed to have all the conditions to be a member, a city member of UNESCO Learning Cities. Then we started with memorandums, the collaboration. The thematic, we have a multi-thematic system. It is well-being, it is human rights, it is health prevention programs, educational, purely educational programs, like at this time, and it is about to stop in about a month because we also have vacation for Christmas holidays. We are completing an educational programs for computer learning. It is on basic skills of computer learning, but it is under the UNESCO support. We want citizens to be educated. We need citizens to have skills and make them even better. So this is one level with UNESCO Learning Cities, but we also, as a municipality, run our own learning system, which is also something like the UNESCO learning programs, only it is funded by us. It is also, it has the, using the same together, we provide a holistic approach to our citizens. For example, municipality programs have less conditions for the citizens to be in, less hours of learning, while UNESCO set us high-level standards. For example, the program is about 100 hours of learning something. We as a municipality understand the situation of the citizens, many of them are working for many hours. They cannot spend many time on educational programs. So we make it shorter. We make for about 25 hours programs. It is just a series of many programs. If we start learning basic English, we will focus on level 1, level 2, level 3. There is a series of programs. Is that okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that answer.
Thank you.
I think we have one more question.
Hello, madam. May I ask you one question? Okay, sorry. No, madam. So please, so you can. Okay.
Ladies first.
Yes. Hello, ma'am. I have a question regarding adolescent girls or boys. How would they cope up during COVID-19 period? Whether they have any problems physically or psychologically?
About which target group?
Adolescent children's. Adolescent.
Both adults and children. Yes, and children. Okay, yes. In this period, and the outcome is now, because we are at the end of COVID era, now the first data that we have is that we had an amazing increased rates of both psychological and mental health issues. Mental health issues are most serious, and so we had to collaborate with many mental hospitals and clinics so that people were getting a treatment. We had a lot, very high rates of depression, and those who were already had a bad mental health, they were also getting worsening because there was no a social environment that could be in. They were isolated. The TV was always, the TV programs were saying about COVID, how many they died, how many they are severe in emergency rooms, how many they got affected, how many, what kind of virus it is. And, you know, when a person has mental health issues and he's already isolated because only some people visit him, maybe only close family members, and having no friends at all. And the only way to hang out with someone is like going out for a walk. This, we spend many months in Greece not being able to get out of home without a reason. We used an application and we had numbers. It was one. If we pressed one, it was for going to the groceries. 2, it was for the doctor. 3, it was to provide help to someone else, like another people. But if we pressed 3 and the police was stopping us on the street, we need to explain in which direction we're heading, how long is the distance, who are we going to visit. They wanted to make sure that we had a person to give care to and not just hang out with friends telling lies. There was number 4 for divorced people. If I was divorced and I had to take my child visit his father, I need to press 4. And if the police stopped me, I had to have my papers on me saying that I am the mother, I have the custody of the child, who is the father, where does he live, and how long will the visit last. It was like another universe. Here in Greece, we had severe trouble with that. Because we are very socialized persons. We focus on socializing. Socializing is our culture. We hug, we kiss, we express our emotions, We're very extroverted, and these lockdowns, because it was 2 or 3 lockdowns for 2 or 3 months, this was very severe in our psychological health and mental health. And the person that is already limited in his home with limited number of friends, it is very hard. For those, I think, in my humble opinion, without wanting to embrace myself like I am, wow, the super social worker, I think that we did our best concerning our working hours, our means. We did our best. In these 2.5 years in Fermi, there was no people untreated. No people untreated. This was in my hands, so I'm a very strict social worker, you know. And people who study social work need to know that social work has always had to set boundaries with our clients, boundaries for ourselves. And we're not giving charity. We are supporting through scientific aspect and knowledge and through ethics.
Okay,
It was an ethical issue for me to handle all these cases, not leaving anyone behind. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Dr. Roy has a question.
Yeah, a very small question. That is, Madam, have you observed any effect of Ukraine war on the social work activities in Greece?
Yes, pretty much, sir. Because Greece is a welcome country for refugees since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And the 90s, the first refugees that we had that was not refugees, that there were half or completely Greek people living in Russia, Georgia. We had immigrants from that kind of countries. There's also Ukraine, which is a country nearby. We had established connections. And as of political terms, we also have good connections in terms of policy and governance. So when the Ukraine war happened, we were in a very difficult situation as a part of policy issue and governance and how countries' political systems communicate, because both with Russia, we have good relationships. But it was the NATO and the European Union that gave us the direction. And of course, in matter of humanitarian crisis, you do not ask where someone comes from. So since the first moment, we said that yes, we are welcoming Ukrainian refugees. Many Ukrainian refugees have come to Greece. We in our municipality have only 30 people, but 30 people means that we provided free homes for them, normal homes, homes that I and you can live in for sure, with good standards of living. We provide them every month all their basic necessities, food, clothes. They have children because they are women and kids. We have only one man in our municipality from Ukraine because he had many kids. He had 4 kids. And he was not obligated to serve the army, the Ukrainian army, so he was free to come. So we have built a network, and kids were going to school, but they also have distant education from their country. They both learn Ukraine. I think we have built a very good system. We provide them free social services, free health services, vaccinations for the kids. We were welcoming 2 mothers of infants, like 2 months old infants, and we had to communicate with pediatricians and etc. All their certificates, like their paperwork, how to be legally in Greece as refugees, all this. Yes, our social services also was head of this project.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that answer. And I thank you wholeheartedly for the discourse that we've had, right from how you had to face certain Greek tragedies, ecological disasters, and then COVID-19. And I'm sure a lot of us here in Maharashtra, Kolhapur, are going to empathize with that, because we also had very terrible floods in 2019 and in 2020. We went through a lockdown, which again was very severe in our part of India. We went to continuous severe lockdowns as you did in Greece. So I wholeheartedly thank you for your discourse. And we will be ending this session now because our next guest has also arrived. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Roy, sir, for your question and for your session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I especially thank Dr. Valvi for suggesting that I should be in your conference and present. Thank you.
Now we are moving towards today's last keynote address from Mr. Santosh Parab. But before that, I request all the dignitaries, please occupy the seats on the dais. Mr. Santosh Parab, Dr. S.P. Rath, Director, CSIBER, Dr. V.M. Hilge, Trustee, CSIBER. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you all with today's keynote speaker, Mr. Santosh Parab, HOD, Energy, Environment and Utilities, Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited. He is BE Mechanical and postgraduated in Marine Engineering from University of Singapore. He has 24 years of industrial experience in various sectors such as engineering, automobile, FMCG, shipping, as well as oil and gas. Mr. Santosh is International Register of Certificated Auditors Certified, Lead Auditor for ISO 14001:2015, ISO 45001:2018, ISO 9001:2015, and ISO 50001. He has played leading role in Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited for achieving various awards and certifications such as CII Green Company Platinum Certification, IGBC Green Building Platinum Certification, Carbon Neutral Certification, ISO certifications for Environment, Health and Safety, Golden Peacock Award for Energy Management. So we are honored to have you with us, sir. And now I request to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, all. Respected dignitaries on dais, Professor Dr. Rath, sir, the dignitaries who have joined offline in this conference as well as online, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I am very much thankful to the management of CSIBER for giving us the opportunity to present here the environmental initiatives that we are taking in our Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited. So I will start with my presentation. So Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited was established in 1946. It has a almost 75 years old engineering conglomerate. We are into manufacturing of industrial engines, power generating sets, fire bombs, Kirloskar electric motors, and many engineering products. We have 4 manufacturing locations. One is located at Kolhapur, Kagal 5-star MIDC. Second is in Pune. Third is in Nasik, and fourth is in Rajkot, Gujarat. So this is our unit that is in Kolhapur, Kirloskar Oil Engines. It is spread across 163 acres. It's a flagship factory of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, where major manufacturing activity of the products takes place. So what is sustainability? There are many definitions right now with respect to the sustainability, but we'll go with the definition defined by the United Nations. So meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. So this is basically, we can briefly define the sustainability. And sustainable business. So sustainable business is one which has minimal impact or positive effect on environment, society, and economy. So we'll be going with the environmental sustainability initiatives in this presentation. These are some of the major challenges that world is facing right now. Climate change, resource depletion, air, water, and land degradation, loss of biodiversity. So this is the GHG emission worldwide. We are at number 3 with the total GHG emission in the world. And if we go on a per capita basis, the GHG emission, we are well below the world's average. But however, there is a responsibility in India to, as we are the 3rd largest GHG emitters in the world, to initiate the actions to bring down these emissions. So electricity generation in India, electricity generation basically more than 66% of electricity is generated through the thermal power plants which run on the fossil fuels. So as you all know that approximately 1200 units of electricity consumption will emit a 1 ton of carbon. So these are the effects emission of the thermal power plants. So the carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, NOx, then particulate matters, and mercury. So these are emitted on the fossil fuel based power generating plants, which can lead to the environmental impacts of global warming, climate change, rising sea levels, acid rains, smog. So it's time to change now, and the industry has to lead from the front over here. So energy conservation, how do we pursue in our organization? So for any organization, there has to be a strong commitment from the management. So we have our dedicated energy policy, and the guidelines are very much clear in this policy that how will be, what all will be our strategies to bring down our emissions. These are the guidelines for the sustainable growth based on the specific energy consumption, use of renewable energies, recyclability, then waste management, GHG emission, and much more. So to drive any energy conservation, the team plays a vital role. So we have an energy conservation team in our organization, and the representation is from each and every department, and the role has been finalized for each team. The reviews for the energy consumption takes place daily, monthly, bi-monthly, annual basis on each and every level. Training and awareness is also a key feature. So guest lecturers are invited to update us with the latest technology in energy efficiency. In Kirloskar Oil Engines, from 14 to 20th December, we celebrate an energy conservation week. So this is done at a very large scale, and basically the intention behind it is to promote the awareness about the energy conservation amongst the employees and the nearby society. So there are a lot of events we carry out during this. We start this event with an energy conservation oath. So all employees take an oath for the energy conservation. These are some of the photographs in the nearby schools, as well as some product exhibitions and some seminars also will takes place. So basically this is to bring awareness amongst the employees and the nearby society that how the energy conservation is important right now. So coming to the energy conservation, if you want to control anything, first thing is you have to measure it, and measuring of energy is very important right now. So for this, we have an online energy monitoring system. Basically, it monitors the energy consumption at every area wise. It has a auto mailing consumption reports to the all respective managers who are handling the activities, live monitoring of the electrical parameters. So basically, we have a dedicated online energy monitoring system. So consumption reports, pie charts are available on daily, weekly, shift-wise basis. These are some of the screenshots of the outputs that we get from the energy management system. Second thing is you have to go with the benchmarking. You should be able to identify that where are you standing right now, with respect to your competitors, with respect to your internal plants. So benchmarking is very important, and we have already done it. Then we start with the energy conservation projects where we emphasize on maximum utilization of natural daylight, energy efficient machineries, low loss equipments, then localized illumination to reduce the the electricity load on the for the illumination, then energy efficient lighting. So these are the LED lamps. Almost 1400 lamps were replaced. Then second is with the process. So energy harvesting from the process is also important. So there are many areas in most of the industries where the energy is generated during the process, and the harvesting of this energy is very important. So we have our product is a diesel engine, and during the testing of the diesel engine, the energy is generated, and this energy we are utilizing it by converting it into the electricity and feeding it to our grid. These are some of the green projects. We have converted our own diesel forklift into the electric forklift. It was a scrap forklift, and in-house we have converted it. We are using solar system for wherever the heating is required. We have a biogas DG set where we generate the electricity from the food waste. Then we are using this solar light pipes to illuminate our offices with the natural daylight. We are also monitoring our specific energy consumption. So specific energy consumption is a consumption which we consume to produce our 1 unit of product. And that is very critical because it gives a clear picture that how efficiently we are consuming the energy. So these are the results. Since 2015, we have brought down our specific energy consumption by 35%. As we all know, renewable energy is very much important right now, and all industries are striving to increase their share. And this is our trend for the percentage of renewable energy that we are utilizing it. This year, we are targeting it around 55%. So this is our pie chart. Last year, we were at 35%. The reason we were down because we were extending our existing solar plant, and we have added another 2 megawatt of capacity in it. This is our layout and the renewable installations which we have done in our plant premises. So these are the solar roof, solar panel installation. Then we have also occupied it on our rooftop as well as land. We are using the solar parabola system. It's a steam generation by using the solar energy, and that steam is being utilized for the cooking purpose in our central kitchen. So these are some of the initiatives that you can see on the screen. So this is the 5.5 megawatt solar plant that was installed in 2017-18. It is an on-site installation at Kagal 5-star MIDC. You can see the panels ground mounted. We have 3.8 megawatt, roof mounted 1.25. Single axis tracking system is a system where the solar panels will track the motion of the sun. So it's around 0.45 megawatts. So annual electricity generation of 80 lakh units is obtained from this system. This is the photograph of the solar steam plant. 350 kg of the steam per day capacity. We have 8 parabolas which we are using to generate the steam. And this steam is utilized for the cooking purpose. We are doing with the steam cooking. The advantages of the steam cooking is the first thing is it's most energy efficient than the conventional cooking. And secondly, the nutrients in the food, they are preserved in the steam cooking. This is the hot water plant. We are using it for solar, generating the hot water for our internal process. This is the kitchen waste processing plant. From the food waste, we are generating biogas, and this biogas, we are utilizing it to generate the electricity, which powers our street lights at the night time. This is the solar pumping system. We are using it to pump the harvested rainwater in our plant premises. We'll go to the water conservation right now. So in water conservation, basically we are guided, the environmental initiatives are guided by our QEHS policy, that is Quality, Environment, Health and Safety Policy. The guidelines are clear from the management. And based on these guidelines, we have achieved this. So we are already ISO 14001:2015 certified plant. We have obtained a GreenCo certification. It's from CII. It's a green company certification, and we have obtained the highest platinum rated certification for the factory. We have our Indian Green Building Council, that is IGBC, as certifying the buildings, and we have a IGBC certified green building, which is rated as a platinum building. Then energy conservation, renewable energy, water conservation, rainwater harvesting, waste recovery, hazardous waste management, online energy monitoring system, carbon footprint monitoring, carbon neutral certification, sustainability reporting. So these are some of the initiatives as an industry we are doing it with respect to the environment. So this is the photograph of the green building. So these are some of the features of the green building. The green building, basically we are using the double glazing, high performance reflective glasses to reduce the heat load, sun louvers to shade the south, east and west side. Air cavity is maintained between the masonry, so where the air acts as an insulator and the electrical load on the AC is reduced. Interiors, we are preferring the sourcing of the materials from the local limits, low VOC paints. Then 100% employees have a vision of the outside, ergonomically designed workstations, lighting sensors to maintain the illumination level, sensors operated for hand wash and urinals, low flush WC, then highly efficient variable refrigerant flow technology, air conditioning system, CO2 monitoring for the better air quality inside. So these are some of the features of the green building. Now coming to the self-sufficiency in the water. So right now, water scarcity is day by day on the rise, and industry being the major consumer has to act upon it. So we as a Kirloskar Oil Engines, we have targeted 2027 as a year to become a self-sufficiency in the water. We have already planned the projects accordingly, where we mostly dependent on the harvested rainwater as well as the recycled water. We are also monitoring our water consumption. The MIDC is supplying the water for us, and you can see the trend year on year where we are replacing the MIDC water with the rainwater. This is the wastewater treatment and recycling plant. It's a solar assisted wastewater treatment plant. We also have an ecological sewage treatment plant. This is the recycled water. Right now we are using it for the gardening as well as toilet and urinal flushing. We are also using some of the processes, this recycled water, industrial processes. This is the rainwater harvesting pond. So we are collecting all the rainwater during the rainy season in the pond, And this rainwater, we also have a farm ponds along with it. So this is the aerial view. So this rainwater, we are utilizing it for the process after filtration and disinfection. We are also carrying out the groundwater recharge. So day by day, it's very important to maintain the groundwater table. And here you can see that we have a 40,000 per year capacity of groundwater recharge. We are online monitoring the groundwater level. We are using the AC condensate. So we are a huge refrigeration and air conditioning system, and the condensate, that condensate is the condensed water that comes out from the air conditioning system. We are utilizing it for the process. It's basically a distilled water. We are doing some projects in our machine shop to reduce the water consumption in the coolants. These are the water saver taps for the taps. We are also monitoring our water consumption per unit of the production, and this is our trend. So in mid-COVID year, there was the rise in the water consumption. However, we have brought it down, and the trend you can see is the reducing trend. Coming to the waste management, recycling of oil. So basically the waste recycling is the emphasis right now, what we are doing it. So the engine oil that we are using for the manufacturing process, we are recycling it. So this goes to a recycler, and then after the filtration and purification, then this again comes back. And almost 88% we get back the oil, and we are again using it. So the disposal of that much oil is avoided. Then coming to the packaging, right now the packaging has become a major source of land contamination. So basically we are going for a reusable packaging. Initially we are using the wooden boxes for our products, but right now we are using the reusable metal skids. So the engines that go with these skids to our customers, and once the engine is delivered, then those skids are brought back and again reused. So this reusable packaging, we are avoiding the waste of the packaging. We are wherever conversion to the reusable skid is not possible, we have converted those into the recyclable packaging, and we are using the corrugated boxes. We have a dedicated waste handling and management yard. So we have ample storage, and all the waste is being segregated and carefully stored. This is again an innovative project in our plant. The waste plastic that we are receiving from our suppliers, the polythene bags, we are converting it into the fuel, and this fuel we are utilizing it to our material handling equipments. So this is a block diagram of the process. So it's a thermocatalytic depolymerization process, which is done in the presence of catalyst. Coming to the World Environment Day celebration, every year we celebrate with the lot of activities and plantation of the trees. This is the GHG monitoring. We are monitoring our GHG intensity basically per unit of GHG emission of the product. And you can see the trend is on the lower side. We are still working upon it to bring it down further. We are also offsetting our carbon emissions with various initiatives. So offsetting the blue area that you can see in this chart are offsetted by our renewable energy projects. So that much carbon we are offsetted with our renewable energy, and the green portion you can see is the purchasing of CLs from the United Nations. So basically we are contributing and moving towards a carbon neutral factory. Corporate sustainability reporting. So this report we are publishing year on year, and all these reports are available on the website. I would request everyone to go through it. All our initiatives for the sustainability, you can find it on our website. Also, as a part of social responsibility, also various activities we are doing it to our nearby villages, like an energy conservation drawing competition, PUC checkup camps, then further street plays. We are also doing this plastic cleaning drive in the MIDC premises. This is along with the MIDC and MPCB. Coming to the certification and awards, there are various certifications like carbon neutral certification we have got in FY19 and FY20. Greenco Platinum certified factory by CII, Platinum rated green building certified by IGBC, Golden Peacock Award for energy management for consecutive 4 years. Consecutive 10 years, CII National Award for Energy Management, consecutive 6 years award winner for state level energy efficiency, National Award for Excellence in Water Management 2022. So these are some of the awards and certificates, photographs. This is Green Company certification awarded by CII. This is IGBC Green Building certification. Then this is the award for rainwater harvesting practices. We received award from CII. Then Golden Peacock Award for energy efficiency. National Award again for the energy conservation. Then this is the National Award for water management. We are also participating in the gardening and landscape competition with the Garden Club, and we have received first prize for past consecutive 4 years. Paryavaran Gaurav Puraskar. This was an initiative with the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board and Environmental Club of India. It's carbon neutral certification. Now coming to the biodiversity, basically biodiversity, loss of the biodiversity is the major challenge the world is facing right now. And this is our approach in our plant premises, how we are doing it. So our approach here is to nurture the native flora fauna and to develop a sustainable natural ecosystem, increase biodiversity and create a pollinator friendly environment, improve groundwater table, and learn and share the knowledge to the nearby society. So there are the key actions. We have plantations where we have planted the native trees, water conservation activities and monitoring of the groundwater, organic farming and learning and sharing. So these are the few photographs of the organic farming, tree plantation. Then biodiversity and carbon sequestration survey. So right now we have carried out, we are doing it every 3 years. So last survey was done. And these are some of the photographs. The report has been unveiled. And this is the total carbon stock that is available in our campus. So around 61 tons of carbon right now is sequestrated in the trees. And every year we'll be increasing it by 1.22 tons per year. This is the tree plantation program. So every year we are planting a number of trees on a large scale. We are also inviting the nearby society representatives as well as the government authorities for the plantation program. So more than 11,000 trees we have planted in our premises. We are also participating in the outside the premises, the tree plantation drive. This is a graph of the plantation. So year on year, you can see the number of trees. So this is what we were at 2007. So this is when we received the land from the MIDC. This was the land. You can see the aerial view as well as the land view. There was not a single tree in the plant premises. And today this is the picture right now. It was a total barren land and a lot of efforts were put in to bring up the greenery over here and to prosper the biodiversity in our premises. So these are some of the photographs you can see. In our water bodies, a lot of migrating birds are also seen during the winter season. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking address on environmental sustainability. Now I declare that session is open for question answer. If anyone is having any kind of question, they may ask.
Good afternoon, sir. I think you have made an excellent presentation. A lot of companies talk about sustainability reporting, but very few people do the work of this level, what they have done it. Really appreciable. Congratulations for that one.
Thank you, sir.
But I have seen that everywhere, I think your compliance is 100%.
Yeah.
But do you get any times in surveillance audit a non-conformity? And how do you address such things?
with respect to ISO certifications?
Yeah, with respect to
audits?
energy audit, I'm talking about.
Energy audit.
Yeah.
So energy audit, basically, we are doing it for the two purposes. First is to identify the opportunities available to bring down the further energy consumption. That is first thing. Secondly, of course, from the audit, the improvements are expected. As a part of an energy management system for the certification, the compliances of the standards are there. But as of now, no non-compliance as such has been reported. However, there are some opportunities for improvements are already been identified, and year on year we are working upon it.
But when you change from order conventional bulb to a LED shifted to LED bulbs, I think that
Yes.
will reduce substantially the emission of carbon dioxide. So
Yes.
do you have such data or information on that one?
LED bulbs, initially we were going with the 400 watt fittings, light fittings. So one fitting was almost around 400 watt. It was a metal halide fitting. We have replaced it with an 80 watt fitting right now. So you can see almost 75% reduction per fitting in the energy consumption was there. So overall 1400 fittings we have replaced it. And this was one of the major factor which has reduced our energy consumption year on year, and we have replaced it in the period of another 2 years. This year we have again replacing our street lights with the solar street lights. So every year we are striving it to bring down this consumption, and we are ensuring that this renewable energy is more part of our energy consumption portfolio.
Just one more question. So
Yes.
we got a student from MSc Environmental Science, but a MBA in Environment also.
Yes.
So do we have some of if they visit our company, whether you allow them to visit in our company?
Yes, we can have an visit. So I think Sharad
Yes,
can
sir.
help you for this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll be more than happy to share this with
Because
the students. Yeah.
so ISO 14000 is an integral part of our curriculum also.
Okay.
But we learn a theory, but if we can see on the field.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We are ready to share this, and you can
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
approach us, and we can do it.
Sure.
Not a
Thank you
not
so
a
much.
problem. Yeah. Yeah.
So kudos to the efforts taken by the management of KOEL and the efforts taken towards the conservation of the energy and its renewal. But I'm worried about the cost benefit analysis, like cost benefit analysis.
Okay.
The investment you have done
Yes.
in these projects,
Yes.
the main project is something different,
Yeah.
I hope.
Yes.
And the taken efforts towards the conservation of energy,
Yes.
kudos. But what about the cost benefit analysis? And whether it has impacted on the share prices of the company?
Yeah, share price, of course, it has impacted because the investment, whatever we are doing into the energy conservation right now, it's directly affecting the energy cost. That is for sure. And as far as the renewable energy is considered, the whatever investment here right now we are doing it, the return on investment will be in the less than 4 years. So the savings and from these projects, you can get the returns within 4 years, and after 4 years it's just purely savings, and that will be you will be bringing down all your conversion cost from raw material to the product. That will be surely affecting it. So of course it has affected our manufacturing cost. Every project that we are doing, we have a detailed analysis of the return on investment which is there to ensure that the right project is selected and the right system is in place with the optimum cost. So cost, of course, it's a factor because we have to ensure the return on investment is this. Also, in some projects, like for water conservation projects, water conservation, we are morely doing it to become a self-sufficiency in water, because in those water cost is not much in India right now. And if you go for the ROI based projects in those sector in water conservation, the return on investment goes very high. It will go beyond 5 years to 10 years. But in that case, the management should be more committed towards the environment in such case, because if you're doing going for the sustainable business, these factors you have to take care of. And in some projects, of course, the ROI is not taken that much seriously when we go for mostly for the environmental projects. But of course, for the energy projects, the ROI is there, and it is very good ROI if you are investing in renewable energy right now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Carbon footprints and global warming are the burning issues for entire world currently. And India, as one of the biggest market in the world and developing economy, the entire world is now looking towards us. India has also pledged to become zero carbon emission country by 2070. We really appreciate your initiatives that you have taken at the Kirloskar Oil Limited. KOL has always been contributing in the environmental sustainability and playing key role in India's pledge to become net zero carbon emission country. These are very important initiatives that you have shared with us towards the well-being of the society also. Once again, I thank you, sir, for sparing time for your busy schedule and sharing your expertise with us. Now I request Dr. is giving his review about the international conference. Thank you so much, sir, about your feedback. Now I request Dr. S.P. Rath, Director, CSIBER, to felicitate today's guest. Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor A.U. Gaikwad to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. We are now at the end of the morning session, knowledge-filled session. Really wonderful to listen to the thoughts, ideas, and words of wisdom which were shared by a variety of speakers from all over the world. But of course, we cannot end our session without a formal vote of thanks. And I would therefore now like to propose the vote of thanks. I once again thank Honorable Professor Dr. T. Mangaleswaran, the Vice Chancellor of University of Vavuniya, Sri Lanka, for being with us today this morning and for the time he has been spending with us. I also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Terefe Zekele, the former head of the Department of Public Management, Civil Service University, Addis Ababa, Africa. I also thank Pradipta Kadambari, the director of Memorial School of Social Work, Purbanchal University, Kathmandu, Nepal, for sharing her vision with us. I also thank Dr. Dtta of Indian Statistical Institute for his wonderful speech and for being with us in this session right till the very end. Of course, his words and his session was really wonderful, giving us an insight on machine learning. I thank Ms. Maria Morfidou for the wonderful insight on the post-COVID scenario from Greece. I also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Santosh Parab, the head of Energy Environmental Utilities of Kirloskar Oil Engines at the 5-star MIDC Kargil. I know I've seen your Kargil plant, so we really know the wonderful work that you are doing there and how much it is contributing to the society and conserving our environment. Of course, I thank our director, Dr. S.P. Rath, for being with us, for sparing his valuable time and being here with us in this conference. And last but not the least, the August gathering, who's been present here since the morning The delegates, the heads of the department of the various programs are my colleagues and faculty members, the non-teaching staff, and the students who've been here with us, who have definitely been enriched by the experience of the various dignitaries. I now declare that the morning session is over, and I would request all the delegates as well as our guests to join us for the lunch. Thank you. For the delegates, post-lunch, we will be continuing with our tracks in the respective track schedules. Thank you.